This is the story of Moses. In the land of Egypt, where the mighty river Nile flowed between fields of grain and vineyards, there lived a great king, Pharaoh. But a shadow hung over his empire, the growing power of the Hebrews. These people, descendants of Jacob, had come to Egypt as honored guests, but soon became enslaved, working in brickyards and fields under whips and scorns. Yet despite the burdens they bore, their numbers increased. And Pharaoh, fearing their growing strength, made a terrible decree. Every newborn Hebrew boy must die. Fear swept through the land. Parents wept, hiding their babies as best they could. But soon, one Hebrew woman heard of a terrible fate awaiting her newborn son. She refused to let him die. In the dead of night, she made a basket out of reeds, waterproofed it with pitch, put the child inside and left it by the riverbank, hoping it would float to the sea and carry away. Meanwhile, on the other side of the river, Pharaoh's daughter was bathing. Her attendants found the basket and cried out, "Look, a little babe, a Hebrew babe." The princess reached out, took the child, and felt a strange connection to the little one. She couldn't bear to leave him by the river to die, so she decided to keep him as her own. "You shall be called Moses," she said, "for you have been drawn out of the water." Thus Moses, the child who was supposed to be dead, grew up in Pharaoh's palace. He was given all the riches fit for a prince, fine silks, golden ornaments, and the best teachers the empire could offer. At his request, his sister Miriam made him a staff out of wood from the forest, which became his closest companion. He was taught in the arts of war, riding, and archery, and he excelled at everything. However, deep within him, something stirred, a longing for the people of his blood, the Hebrew slaves toiling under the Egyptian yoke. When Moses was 40 years old, as he was tending his flock near Mount Horeb, he saw something shocking. An Egyptian taskmaster was beating a Hebrew. Without hesitation, Moses drew his staff and struck the Egyptian. When people gathered around, he explained what had happened. But they whispered amongst themselves, "Why did he do this? Can't he see the consequences?" Overhearing their talk, Moses climbed up a mountain to hide. There God spoke to him from a burning bush, saying, "Do not be afraid, I am with you. You are not alone." But Moses asked, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring Israel out of Egypt?" God replied, "I will make all my power work for you. You shall be like God to Pharaoh." However, still doubting himself, Moses pleaded, "O Lord, I am not eloquent, neither I have been in time past, nor since you have spoken to me. I am slow of speech and tongue." But God consoled him, saying, "I will be with you. Speak to him and say, 'Thus says the Lord God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me.'" Determined but scared, Moses returned to Egypt. He went to Pharaoh and said, "Pharaoh, God of Israel, says, 'Let my people go, that they may serve me.'" But Pharaoh answered, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, nor will I let Israel go." So God told Moses to stretch out his hand. When he did, it turned into a serpent. Fearing for their lives, the nobles asked, "What sorcery is this?" But Moses and Aaron declared, "These things are the Lord's signs and portents which he has done in Egypt." However, Pharaoh was still defiant, and God showed the final sign, turning the Nile into blood. Still, he did not let the Israelites go. Then God told Moses, "Israel will remember that you caused their suffering. I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will let the Israelites go by force. Then you will have to tell Pharaoh to let my people go so that they can worship me." And so, gathering his strength, Moses left the palace behind and headed for the desert. As he journeyed, he met a man from Midian. His name was Jethro. He was kind and offered Moses and his family a place in his home. Soon, Moses married one of Jethro's daughters, named Zipporah. Moses spent the next 40 years living among the Midianites, raising sheep. This period is sometimes referred to as the wilderness years. During this time, Moses continued to meet with God. Once, when he was praying on Mount Sinai, he encountered the same God who spoke to him from the burning bush. Then God gave him the 10 Commandments, the foundation of the covenant between God and the Israelites, and instructed him how to build the tabernacle where God would dwell among the Israelites. Then the time finally came for Moses to lead his people out of slavery in Egypt. Gathering the elders of Israel, Moses repeated the message he received from God. "Thus says the Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let my people go that they may worship me." Though still afraid, Pharaoh finally agreed to release them, but only after making them work for 3 days without tools. As they finished their work, many Israelites looked back at the land of their slavery with longing. But Moses lifted up his staff and said, "Behold, the pillar of cloud is going to stand in front of the tabernacle of testimony between me and you." As long as the pillar of cloud hovered above the tabernacle, they knew God was present among them. Their journey was harsh. They faced hunger and thirst, weariness and danger. However, God provided for them, raining down food in the form of manna and water from a rock. Though they struggled, Pharaoh soon regretted his decision to let them go. He realized how important the Hebrews were to the Egyptian economy, and that his workers were now gone, leaving him with unfinished projects. Angry and ashamed, Pharaoh got together his chariot and horsemen and raced towards the Red Sea. When he saw the Israelites crossing the sea on dry ground, Pharaoh's determination grew. He wanted to capture them, even if it meant dying trying. As he approached, the people of Israel panicked. They looked back and saw the Egyptian chariots thundering towards them. They cried out to Moses, "What did you do to us? Why did you bring us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness?" But Moses held up his staff over the sea and asked, "Why do you cry out to me? Tell Pharaoh to let us go. If he won't let us go, we'll stay here and die." And Pharaoh approached. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the wind blew hard that night, causing the sea to crash violently. In the morning, the Israelites stood on the shore and watched as the waters fell. Chariots and horsemen were buried under the waves. No one escaped. That day, the Israelites crossed over on dry ground while the water was divided. Then the Lord made a strong east wind blow all night, causing the sea to return to its place. And when the Egyptians came up to look for the Israelites, they found nothing but dry land. After Pharaoh's army was drowned, the Israelites sang a song of triumph to God. It tells the story of God's power over nature and humanity, reminding future generations of their liberation and the importance of remembering and celebrating their history. Now, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos about Bible stories. Bye-bye.